Right, we've now got 3 pieces on. This is the 4th piece. This one's again quite tricky because we've got to go through the light there. Okay, so you can see piece 1 and 2, they've all nicely gone nice and flat now. These aren't air bubbles. This is just paste that's underneath it that will eventually sink in. These are sort of like the downlighters. We've cut the holes for them. So I'm quite happy with that piece. I don't need to do anything with it. I just keep an eye on it just in case anything sort of like any of the bubbles, but it should all dry back perfectly nice. Right, so let's get this piece number 4 on. Let me just show you this technique that we're using for putting a larger piece of paper up. Okay, so I've got this what we'll call our crotch again. Okay, so I've balanced that right on the edge of the paper. And that's going to come to around sort of this sort of area. Okay, so I'm going to be looking there. And then also I've got my paste brush. Okay, I'm going to be holding my paper there and I'm going to be looking on this line. Okay, and then I'm going to sweep it down, sweep it around in a sort of a quick motion. Okay, I'll try and do it slowly for you. It's easier if I do it quick, but I'll try and do it slowly for you. Okay, and then I've got my crotch position just underneath this paper. Some people have it different to that, but I quite like it this. I find I'm in more control of the paper this way. It does look a little bit awkward, but this is the way that I've been sort of taught, and it's worked perfectly fine. So here we go. Right, so I'm looking up. I've got my again my crotch on the side there. Okay, I've got a bit of an overlap of about 50mm. Okay, because I'm going to trim it to this line. Again, we don't know if that's straight, so we always leave a bit of excess, and then we can just trim it over afterwards. So let's lift it up. So I'm looking at my crotch there. That's nice and straight. Okay, if I can get this first part straight, okay, then it just becomes very, very simple. So I'm just going to get it on the line, push down, sweep it round. That quick. Okay, so it's nice and straight now. Okay, if I didn't do that part and just left this flap in, it would then, by the time I get down the other side, it would fall off. Okay. Right, so get this first part in, and then we'll have no problems all the way along. Again, we're just leaving a very little hairline gap. Okay, what we don't want is any overlaps. Okay, so I'm now going to bring my paper hanging brush to there, take the other one from underneath it. Okay. Again, some people do this slightly different. This is the way I do it. Okay. Pull it across. It's quite heavy, this paper. And again, I'm just looking at the edge of the crotch there, so it's on the line. Okay, and I'm going to sweep it down. Okay, slightly adjustment there. Take your time with this. Again, if you're not happy with it, just take it down, start again. The more practice you get, the better you become. Okay, no gap there, that's perfect. Okay, bring my brush to it, hold it there, put it underneath, pull the next one out. Okay, and again, just coming to the edge, sweep it down the middle. Getting ever closer to this light. Okay, so when I get to the light, I'm just going to completely ignore it and just going to carry on. Okay, if I had it only of like quite an overlap with this, this is where you get the problems where it can start to fall off. Okay, so again, crotch there, put it in a fold. Have a good chance there. Put it on, sweep it through. Right, now we've got the full piece on. Okay, and again, it just looks a bit sort of scruffy, but that's just paste that's just underneath it, so you don't need to worry about that. We need to get around this light. Okay. So the power's off. Okay, so I'm just going to peel it back a little touch. Okay, and this is what we call a star cut. Okay, so I'm just going to peel it back. I'm going to push it to the very edge of the light. Okay, and you can mark this with a pencil if you want to, but it's good practice just to try and do it without. Okay, because again, when we're putting our pattern papers up, we're going to need this. Okay, so I'm just going to make a little snip. I can do a snip or I can do it with my Stanley blade. it out. Okay, so I'm just going to make the first incision there. Okay, don't press too hard because I want to mark the light itself. Okay, now once you've got this first cut in, trying to do it without it tearing. That's the test. Okay, and I'll come around this side so you can see it, and I can do the other side afterwards. Okay, so again, this is what again a star cut, and you'll see why in a second. So I'm just going to pull it down. Okay, I don't like to take the socket off yet, again, because you don't want to get any paste on the underneath of that. That's a health and safety reason. And again, on the site we do this much quicker. And this, you can use this cut for anything that's circular, okay, or oval, not square in particular. Now I just do the side out of camera. Okay, now you've got that it's cut all the way around. Okay, let's just take away all these this edge that's drying. Got a little bit of paste on there as well, so I'll just do this with my sponge. And the same this side. Okay. I've got some bits of paste on there, it's easy enough to just get it off with again with a damp sponge. Okay, right. Now that I've got that off, I can take this off. Okay, it comes off. Okay, I'll push that in now. Again, I'm not touching any of the electrics. Okay. Just get our corking board. Corking board against it. Okay, put some pressure on, nice and sharp. Again, take your time. And then just get the edge of the sponge there and just being very, very careful. On the outside. And put this back on. Until we come to paper this next section, and then we just follow the same procedure. So all we've got to do now is just trim the edges up, wipe the sides clean, and then we're ready just to finish off the rest of the ceiling.